Hello, this is Melissa Bachman, and I am presenting my action research project. So, my title, Implementing Jim Knight's Impact Cycle. So, what is the impact cycle? Well, as an academic coach, I will use the impact cycle as a model for partnering with teachers to help improve student learning in the classroom. So, this coaching cycle is a confidential partnership between myself and the teacher, where we work through 3 stages: identify, learn, and improve. So, in working with a teacher, I help the teacher, I ask questions, I can collect data to help the teacher get an idea of the current reality in the classroom. Most times, we as teachers always know what areas we want to see improvement in. So, we could probably think of 3 or 4 things that we, at any given day, that we want to see improved in our students. So, the identify stage is not that difficult, but we have to identify one area where we want to see improvement that we feel will give us the most bang for our buck, that will be the most valuable to us as a teacher. So I will work through teachers to identify a specific student-centered goal. Then once we have that goal, we identify a strategy that we can use to reach that goal. That's the identify stage. Then we move to learn. During the learning stage, the teacher is learning about the strategy. We may find videos, observe other teachers. I may model the strategy for the teacher, and we may co-teach. It depends on what the strategy is, my familiarity with the strategy, and how the teacher wants to learn more about it. Once we've learned about the strategy and the teacher's ready to implement it, we move to improve. And at that point, the teacher's implementing the strategy in the classroom, and we're having some meetings periodically and doing some progress monitoring to see if the students are reaching the goals. If they're not, then we either need to pick another strategy or we need to revise the strategy to make sure that we've met the goal. And then once we've met the goal, we're ready to move back to identify again. So this is the impact cycle, and Jim Knight presents a very specific set of tools for coaches to go through these 3 stages with teachers in a way that is research-based and should provide good results. So my critical question is, in what ways is Jim Knight's impact cycle effective or not effective in helping teachers improve teaching and learning? The story behind my question. Well, I started as an academic coach in 2014, and my role was mostly related to resources, professional development, and curriculum. I was the STEM coordinator and worked with grade levels to develop interrelated or integrated STEM units at each grade level, kindergarten through 5th grade. So truly my role had a whole lot to do with resources, professional development, and curriculum. In 2016, DeKalb County required all Title I funded academic coaches to attend training and log their time, and they had the expectation that we would implement coaching cycles. So this initiative came from the county, not from my school. So I didn't come to it with a positive attitude because it was not something my principal was asking me to do. I didn't feel that it was something my teachers were interested in. So I had a negative attitude. The training has since improved drastically, and they've provided us better resources. So as of this year, I now still have mandatory training. I still have to log my time, but I also have an academic coach coordinator and a mentor that provides me monthly feedback on my coaching log and also makes site visits and provides one-on-one coaching for me as a coach. So with this extra support and with a little more understanding and better resources, I think at this point I'm ready to be more open-minded and think more about how the coaching cycle can be used to really make a difference in classrooms. So my methodology, I'm looking at my design is a curriculum analysis design because I'm taking a very specific model and I want to implement it in my practice. I want to try to implement it with fidelity and judge its effectiveness in our school building. And think about ways that it's not effective as well, and see how we can adjust it or adapt it so that it is a good fit for us. So the type of data that I'm looking at will be recordings of all the meetings that I have with teachers, the meeting notes, feedback from my academic coach coordinator. I will let him review my meetings. I will collect documents to determine our goal, and I will have logs of the modeling, observing, or co-teaching that happens during the learn phase. And I will create and document the learning strategy checklist that we come up with. There will be documents related to the improve phase. And when all is said and done, we will have teacher surveys. So let me back out here and jump over to my calendar of research. You'll see I've broken down my data based on my calendar. So there will be an initial meeting. So I'll have some recording, some data from that. The initial meeting before we even begin, so that teachers understand the cycle and what to expect. Then during the identify stage, I will have documents, artifacts, observations that the teacher and I use to help identify a student goal. Then we will videotape the goal setting meeting that I have with the teachers, and I'll have notes from that meeting as well, and the actual student-centered goal. I'll record that as part of my data. Once we move into the learn stage, I will log the resources that we collect for the strategy checklist, and I will videotape the learn stage meeting that I have with the teacher, and I'll have my meeting notes. And then as we learn, I will log the modeling, co-teaching, videos, any type of learning events that occur. I'll just keep a log of those. Once we've moved to the improve stage, then I will collect progress monitoring data, and this will be based on how the teacher wants to collect that data. And we will video the progress monitoring meetings. There may be 1 or 2 meetings for that, and then there will be notes from those meetings. So that will be my data. And also I will have an analytic memo at 3 different stages. The first one will be after the identify stage, and then after the learn stage, and then another one at the improve stage. So let me jump back over here, and let's talk about the purpose of my data. So I really want to see if I can implement this as it's described. So that's one of the purposes of my data. Am I implementing it with fidelity? And I hope to also improve my practice. I also want to determine the effectiveness of each stage. So I'll be looking at each stage individually and thinking about what is effective in our meetings together, in our actions, in the work that we're doing in the partnership, and how it's helpful. And then honestly, I want to determine the investment of time that's required to work through this. I know it won't be the same amount of time for each teacher, but I want to get an idea of what type of time will be required for our meetings and the work. In terms of ongoing analysis, when I'm analyzing, synthesizing, deconstruction, I will think of my data in 3 categories. I will have my implementation data, my teacher engagement data, and my student impact data. And I will look at each of the 3 stages, identify, learn, improve, as well as these 3 categories, and see where the patterns are. I want teachers to be engaged. I want them to have a positive experience. I want there to be student impact, and I want my implementation to be best practice. And I want to see how those connect together and see what patterns I see in that data. All right, so my expected results. Well, I want to understand and experience the benefits of the cycle. I need to be open-minded. I need to try it as it is and and go into it expecting there to be benefit. It is a research-based program, so there will be benefits, and I want to understand and experience what they are. Um, I want to identify areas that teachers and I may want to adjust for our specific school. And probably most importantly, I want to improve my practice as an academic coach. I've come into the coaching cycle process um, with probably a lack of confidence. I don't want to um, impose upon teachers something that will not be worth their while. And so with a lack of confidence, I think I'm just shied away from it. So I need to improve my practice. And so I hope that will be an expected result, or it will be a result. So that sums up my action research project. Um, I think I'm biting off more than I can chew, but as I think about it, this is what I want to do. This is what I will do. So I think it will be well worthwhile. Thank you very much.